shattered to unbreakable. Listen here, sweet sister. Whether you think you have one little crack or you are shattered into a billion pieces, this podcast is going to give you the resources, tools, and skills to help piece yourself back together to form a beautiful, unique, solid, and unbreakable masterpiece. You are listening to Shattered to Unbreakable, the Reclaim Podcast. Let's talk. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Shattered to Unbreakable. I'm your host, Brandi Babin, and we are at episode 99. Do you know what that means? That means next week I'm going to have a special guest on because we have to celebrate our 100th episode. So I'm going to have somebody back on the podcast, a blast from the past, and it's going to be epic. I'm really excited. You can bet there will be laughter. That will be so exciting. We are on the third part of the mirror work series. This is one of the harder parts about mirror work. And I can almost guarantee you, a lot of you listening aren't actually doing what I've been telling you to do these last 3 weeks. And it's understandable. I know you're busy. I know it's scary. But if you are listening to this podcast, there is work to be done and you want the results. So let's just do it. How about? So go back, listen to the first one and do the things. Do it for a few days or even a week or maybe even a month. And then go listen to part 2. Do that. And then listen to this part 3 and then do this. And I have so many resources for you to keep healing. I guarantee you guys, this mirror work is going to change your life. I know this because it changed mine. And granted, there were so many things that added to my healing, including things that can't really be substituted, such as therapy, great friends, those kinds of things, all the things that the other episodes have covered. But I'm telling you, being able to look in that mirror and love who you see is something no one can take away from you. And that, my friends, is how you stay peaceful and healthy 100% beyond any situation, circumstance, anything. I mean, people will ask me, like, how do you not lose your mind with people starting rumors about you? And how do you not care what people think? I mean, look at me right now. I'm doing this podcast with the microphone resting on my chest. I'm in bed. I just put my kids to bed. This is going to air tomorrow morning, which is this morning you're listening. I could decide, oh, it's not going to be good enough. I'm not going to record it. I'll just do it the following week. I made a commitment to you guys to make this happen. And I had my kids this weekend. Emma's birthday was this weekend. I just didn't have time to sit in the quiet and record a podcast outside of 10 p.m. Monday night to air Tuesday morning, like raw and real. And this is sometimes what peace looks like. It may look messy to other people, but there's no way I'm going to skip a week. Those of you that listen every single Tuesday morning, thank you. You are what keep me going, because obviously you see value in what God is using me for. God's using me to speak to you. You see that, you feel that, and you're listening to that calling. Who am I to take that away from you, right? So I see all of you that I don't know who you are. It doesn't tell me who, don't worry. I'm not stalking you, but there's like a good 29 people that listen weekly, and then there's 60 followers total. And I know that doesn't seem like big numbers, but to me, like a room full of 20 people, 29 people that want to hear what I have to say tells me that God has something that the world needs that only I can provide. And that's this whole thing that I've learned through mirror work. I'm able to look at myself in the mirror and say, the world needs you, and I love you, and we're going to give it our all today. And I want to get you guys to that point, because I'm telling you, the peace that comes with delighting in your own reflection. And like I said, I'm not saying physical. I'm not saying I can look at everything about me and be like, I look good. No, that's not what it is. It's being able to look into my eyes and see a deeper person and the intention, the heart, the drive, the Holy Spirit, everything that you can see within your eyes. And then when you do look at a body, seeing strength, seeing fertility, all these things that don't have to be a supermodel in the mirror that I'm looking at. And so it just is a new gratitude and appreciation for this reflection I see. And I want nothing more than for you guys to feel the same way. And it's reflecting in my parenting. It's reflecting in my friendship. I don't know if other people see it, but I feel quite the shift just in the last 6 months of really taking mirror work seriously and doing it more. Just realizing that that's what really made a huge difference in my healing and my continuing to heal. So I'm really excited to bring to you guys today part 3. I know that was kind of a long intro, sorry. But part 3 is the one that takes the longest to master. And that is to reverse the lies that you've been telling yourself and to forgive and respect the old you. And so there's so many pieces of this to unpack. And part of that we've already talked about, which is that inner 5-year-old. That was last week. It's super important to love on your inner 5-year-old, to speak to yourself as if you were 5. That's very important. Now we are going to talk about the teenage to early adulthood you. This person is harder to talk nicely to. Now I'm gonna give you the insights to where I was, because I only know my story. That's the only place I'm coming from. This might not relate to you 100% moment for moment. So what I'm saying, just take the idea of it and plug it into your life and look at it from your own lens. But who I was from teenager to early adulthood, I got angry with her. And I didn't have a lot of compassion for that person. In high school, I kept going back to somebody who cheated on me. I saw that as weak. As I'm going through this healing process, I'm like, why did I do that? Honestly, why was I so boy crazy? Why couldn't I just focus on my studies and my career and building a resume and doing internships and finding out what I really wanted to do in life? And then I wouldn't have wasted 4 years at college with a degree I can't use, or I would have stayed in school those extra 2 years and been a physical therapist before you needed a doctorate to do that. It would have been grandfathered in. 2 more years. Are you kidding me? And now I'm back in school getting a whole different degree in a whole different category. Hindsight, right? But there was a point in my life where I was really mad at that teenager. I was really mad at that college student. Then I was royally mad at the woman who fell for somebody that hurt me and who fell for somebody that in the end hurt my kids. Why did I keep going back? And not only did I put myself in that position, but then I had kids. And now I've put them in that position to have to deal with the emotional pain and hurt that I've seen them go through. And so I was really upset with myself for not only putting me in that position, but innocent children in that position. My family members, my friends who hurt watching me go through what I went through, watching my kids go through what they went through. And I hurt a lot of people with those decisions, and they weren't intentional, but in my eyes, before the mirror work, I saw this weak, pitiful, old version of myself, not older, but you know what I mean, like younger version of myself, but weak. I just saw her as just weak and pitiful. And I just like, ugh, why can't you just be stronger? Why couldn't you just pull your big girl panties up and take care of stuff? Take care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, be strong. See through the BS. I knew it. That's the thing that makes me so mad. My gut knew it. And then I would just talk myself out of it. And I just got so angry. And, any of you that have been through any sort of narcissistic or emotional abuse, it's really hard to decipher abuse with the love bombing narcissistic cycle of, it's like love bomb, disregard or discard, love bomb, discard, love bomb, discard. And so it's just this really repetitive cycle. And then if you go back and listen to some trauma bonding and brain spotting episodes of the podcast, it explains in more detail what happens to your brain and the chemistry of your body. And it takes years to recover from the damage that it does physically and chemically to your body. And so there was moments of going through my healing where I was just really mad at that younger me. And I'll never forget, starting my mirror work was easy to talk to the 5-year-old me. Super easy, because I was so compassionate for her. She did nothing wrong. So innocent, right? Nothing wrong. But when I started to get to my teenage parts, my early adult parts, I was like, girl, you could have done better. You could have done better. You could have saved us from this mess. You could have. All you had to do is be a little bit stronger. All you had to do is listen to everybody around you telling you what you already knew. That's all you had to do. And so it was really hard to look in the mirror and forgive that version of me, because she set me up for failure. In my mind, that's what I thought. And it wasn't until I did a cord cutting ceremony with Bre Wolta. She's a relationship coach. She does these cord cutting ceremonies that are so healing, but it really shifted my viewpoint of that younger version of me. And this is where it gets really tough in mirror work to sift through your past decisions and different paths that you took. But it also is really hard to forgive other people in your past that may have forced you into trauma or were responsible for your trauma. But forgiving them is part of your healing and mirror work as well. I highly recommend that if you have trauma based on forgiveness of another person, that you get a therapist or get help from a professional, because there are so many deep layers to that, especially if it's big trauma. So reach out to me if you want to be like, hey, should I see somebody about this? But you can it's always a great idea to get therapy. Don't get me wrong. But as far as forgiving yourself, it could be something as simple as a cord cutting. I think for me, it was a mixture of everything. It was therapy, it was the cord cutting, it was surrounding myself with the right people, it was the books I was reading, it was the mirror work, it was reclaim, it was all of those things that kind of added on to each other. And so if mirror work isn't quite powerful enough for you to step into this forgiveness phase of it, I do recommend you get some professional help with it and take mirror work to that person and say, hey, this crazy Brandi girl is trying to get me to talk to myself in a mirror, and I need a little help. But I can get you started. And so what I want to open your eyes to, first of all, let's see, what order I'm going to go ahead and tell you the shift that happened with my view of my younger self and how I came to see her differently. And then I'm going to relate it to these last two little bits of part 3 of mirror work. So when I did the cord cutting ceremony, the idea is to cut the cord that ties you to that younger version or different version of yourself, the version that's no longer serving you, or the version that's no longer leading you to a place of prosperity or surrender or comfort or healing. Going into it, like I said, I really thought that because you visualize seeing that version of yourself, you visualize like, I'm going to see her and then I'm going to cut her loose. And so going into it, I thought, oh, I'm going to see this like weak, beat up, crying, probably on her knees or curled up in a ball, just weeping on the floor. Like, that's who I'm going to be cutting. And it was so different than what I thought. But we were laying there and we were going through this guided meditation of there's cords that are grounding you through the earth, and then you see your version of yourself and there's a cord right tied to them, and then you cut it and release them. And when I saw, it's going to make me cry again, when I saw the version of myself, she was not weak. She was not weak at all. And she wasn't even crying. She looked like a badass. She was strong as hell. And she was standing tall and proud, and she was compassionate, and she just would fight for anybody. I mean, anybody. She's just ready. She's just like, let's go. Who else needs saving? Who else needs rescued? Let's go. I'm here. I can save the entire world. Like, she was just beautiful and radiant and beaming. I was shocked. I was so shocked. She was not somebody I pitied. She was not somebody that I was mad at. She's somebody I admired. Because when I saw her, it wasn't that she let anybody walk all over her. She saw the inner potential and the inner light of other people. And she was refusing to let it die. She was refusing to let those people go into their own darkness. She was like, hell no. They need me. They need help. And I'm here. And, if you bring that to a therapist, that is unhealthy to try to rescue everyone, right? So that's what you work through with a therapist is it's not your job to save the world, okay? It's not your job to help people through stuff. They need to do it themselves. But if you do struggle with something like that, you don't have to see it as a bad thing. You can see it as something that you need to cut ties with, right? So that's the whole thing is like, I saw this beautiful, strong, amazing person. And I was like, hey, wow. First of all, thank you. Thank you for the fight. Thank you for showing me what we were made of. Thank you for believing in everybody else and what they're made of. Thank you for seeing potential in darkness, and I release you. And you could just see that tough outer shell just melt into this softness of relief. And she just smiled so big, and she looked up and shook her head and smiled and just was like, sweet, like, okay, now I can go be in peace. And it was like she walked away so fulfilled and so light, and I was just like, whoa. And as I watched her walk away, I just remember thinking, that was nothing like what I thought it was going to be. And so now, when I look back at who that younger version of me was, going back to people who were cheating, I believed them when they said they were going to change. That's an endearing trait. I trusted people who couldn't be trusted. Trust is endearing as well. It's honest. I see things so differently when I look in the mirror. I'm no longer ashamed of my past. I'm no longer blaming myself for what happened to me. I no longer blame myself for the life my kids now must live through. Instead of blame, shame, guilt, all of those things, fear, anxiety, I now can look at my past, present, and future, knowing that who I am inside is more than enough, and I will always carry that warrior memory of that version of me that I let go. And she gets to go be in peace, which means I get to be in peace. And there are some times when something will come up and that warrior spirit in me will be like, do we need to fight? And I can just giggle and be like, no, we're good. We're good. We don't have to fight anymore. We can be peaceful about this. We can choose love to battle. And gosh, you guys, I want that for you. I want that for you. I want you to be able to look in the mirror and all of those things, those negative, nasty things you tell your teenage and an early adult self, I just want you to shift it. I want you to shift it and appreciate that girl got you here. That girl made you right now. The version of you that you are now, you've never been and you'll never be again. You gotta appreciate who you are right now. You'll never have this back. It'll always change. And so these next two little parts of the mirror work. The first part is to think about the different lies that you tell yourself throughout the day. Once again, if you have a Reclaim guidebook, this is the next step in that book. It follows this mirror work plan beautifully. And so the next part is lies turned into truths. So what lies are you telling yourself? There's a section in that book where you write them down. The lies could be, if they were me, it would be, you're too disorganized. You'll never succeed. No one's going to want to follow you. You don't have the right look for this. You don't have the right look for, blowing up on Instagram or all that. Other lies, you're not a good mom. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what they were anymore. But whatever lies you tell yourself nothing that you tell yourself that's negative is the truth. Nothing. So anything that you start telling yourself that's negative, it's a lie, guarantee. And so you write those down, and then on the other side, you're going to counter those lies with the truth. So if I were to give an example, like if I were going to say, I'm a terrible mom because I yell too much, that's a lie. On the flip side, if I make that a truth and say, I'm a mom who's working on my yelling, and I'm going to succeed. I'm going to yell less. Or I'm a mom who gets better every day. I'm a mom who tries really hard. I'm a mom who cares about my kids. Those are the things that I would make the truth out of that lie. So that's what you're going to do first, is write down all the lies you tell about yourself, turn them into truths, and then say the truths out loud in the mirror. Because you're no longer going to entertain those lies. That's not how we talk to each other. It's not how we talk to each other. So that you could say that in the mirror, like, hey, I'm really sorry I've been lying to you. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's not how we talk to each other. Here's what the truth is. And you read through that list of truths. And that's what you can start saying every day in the mirror, is those lists of truths. That's what you need to be saying. And then if you really want to do like a really great meditation on seeing that version of you that you're not proud of and seeing what she was really trying to do for you. Was she trying to protect you? Was she trying to guide you somewhere? Was she trying to help other people? Was she trying to fulfill her purpose? What was that girl trying to do? Because never once in your life, my friend, have you tried to be a bad person. Come on. You didn't try to do that. Everything that you've done that led to a bad choice, there was something there that you were trying to do out of the goodness or light of your heart and your soul. It just didn't work out. You might have trusted the wrong person. You might have given into temptation. That temptation comes from somewhere, the desire to be what? Loved, cherished, understood, seen, known. Something was true in every single bad decision you ever made. There was something true with integrity and love and desire and need for connection. Something good was there. Find the good and then thank that version of you for trying to get there, and then let her go. And if you want a cord cutting ceremony, let me know. I will get something. Maybe we could even do a podcast episode where Bre leads us through one, because it's incredible. So if you want one, let me know. I can get that together. It was amazing for me. Life-changing. Changed my whole view of myself. So those are the two things I want you to do. The first one, lies turn to truths. Second one, have some time in quiet to think about this version of you that disappointed you, and then get to the root. Get to the root of why she made those decisions. What good was at the root of it? What good was at the root of these things? And this could go so many ways, and this is where you might need a therapist for it, because you might have a circumstance where you're like, Brandi, this doesn't really fit my circumstance because I was innocent in this. I was taken advantage of. I was abused. I was XYZ. I understand that, and I'm sure that there's a part of you that carries some fault that's not yours to carry, because it's not your fault. What happened to you is not your fault. It's your responsibility to do something about it, though. So that's where therapy comes in. And if you want a good therapist, I have a great one. Let me know if you need one. But that's where part 3 of mirror work is going to be. I think as far as going further with mirror work, these 3 things, part 1, part 2, and part 3, are all you're really going to need to start changing your mindset and your self-talk. That will change so much. And if you get a Reclaim guidebook and you plan out your goals of the things that you want to change for the good, and for the Reclaim guidebook has two things you don't like about yourself that you can change, and we will actively start changing them this year. And then 2 things that you are purpose driven about that you want to accentuate or feed and fuel to do God's work. So it's 4 goals. We make a year goal. We break it down into daily habits that are super easy, little bite-sized chunks. And then you start seeing that transformation. And that's when you keep looking in the mirror and checking in, like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And very encouraging, very affirming words. There is no, I won't tell. The affirmations just need to be real. They just need to be real. And like I said, state your intentions first if you need to, and then start moving to actual statements that you believe. I believe my intentions are good. So I know, like, I am a good person. I love Jesus. I love myself. I try really hard every day. And even on the days where I don't do my best, I still try hard. I might not give 100%, but some days 50% is my 100%. And I give myself grace. If I do need to ruffle my feathers a little bit for some motivation, I do it in an encouraging way. Hey, Brandi, listen. Yeah, you know you messed up, but hey, you don't have to do it again. You don't have to continue the pattern because you have capability and you are enough and you have the strength and you have the intelligence and you have the drive and the willpower to crush this goal. So let's get back on the horse, start afresh, and get going. I mean, it's as simple as that. You can be encouraging to yourself even when you mess up. Okay, this is getting long. Sorry. This is a really passionate part of mirror work for me. I love it. I hope you do too. This is a long journey. It's rewarding. Keep listening to these episodes. Master mirror work. Order a Reclaim guidebook. A beautiful hand mirror comes in every box now. So stay sparkly. Get sparkly. Get ready to get sparkly. There's going to be some sparkle. I don't care what you try to do. If you're around me, you're going to sparkle. So get ready. I will see you guys next week for our 100th episode. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I just wanted to remind you about the resources we have on the reclaimstrategy.com. That is Reclaim University with free downloads. It's the Reclaim Guidebook, access to Kintsugi classes and events. So go ahead and take a look. Also, please share this podcast with anybody that you think might need to hear these messages. And if you haven't already and you think we deserve it, give us a 5-star rating. That just helps our reach. So I love you guys. Stay sparkly, and we will see you next week.